Hello, boys and girls. I have some very bad news. You see, we have been abducted by aliens. That's right, we're playing some Ark Survival Evolved. Very, very cool game. I love dinosaurs. This has dinosaurs. Not much more needs to be said, actually. Alright, anyway, well, let's jump into this. So, what I'm going to do is, well, first, we're playing single player, which the game is actually balanced. Well, let me hit defaults first. I was playtesting it a bit, but anywho, the game is balanced around multiplayer. So in single player, there are a few sliders that you kind of want to adjust just to give yourself a leg up. Now, I'm hoping that I actually adjust these. I don't want them to be too ridiculous, but I don't want them to be too punishing either. One of the ones I'm actually going to set all the way up is taming speed. That's going all the way to 3. Some of the tames, like the massive Titanosaurus, yeah, they'll take 6-7 hours, and I don't want to do that if I can help it. So this will hopefully reduce most of the taming times down to more manageable levels. We might still get like some 2-hour-long tames, and I'm gonna make you watch every last second. No, no, I'll if I do decide to do that, I'll just put a podcast or something on and not record that portion, because I don't want you sitting around and like waiting like 2-3 hours while I run back and forth to get food. That won't be fun. Other stuff. I'm tempted to do the XP multiplier up a bit. I'm not going to do that, because if you get it up too high, the game's just super easy. You hit one little, like, dingy little dinosaur, and suddenly you're level 18. I mean, it's ridiculous, so we don't really want to do that. What I do want to crank up, though, is harvest amount, and I'm just going to go for a 2x multiplier. Now, if I can actually... Oh, can I type it in here? Yeah, let's do that, because the sliders are a little gimmicky. So, we just want 2. I think if I... Yeah, that's it. So, basically what this does, the harvest amount, is essentially it's the amount of resources you get off any particular thing that you harvest. So, I mean, if you cranked up to 3, you get a ton of food very quickly, and it almost breaks the game. I'm hoping around 2, it'll be enough to kind of compensate for the fact that I don't have a whole tribe around to help me gather all this stuff. It's just me by myself, stuck on the island. So, yeah, we're kind of playing this like it's not going to be so much Gilligan's Island as the Island of Dr. Moreau or something, or Castaway. You know, it's going to just be me versus the elements. So, just to give myself a leg up, and because honestly, like some of the late game stuff, it's like, okay, now go harvest 800 metal to build this thing. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that. Not as one person. Now, if I had a group, that'd be different, but not in solo. So I'm going with a 2-time multiplier. That is, you know, it's like a fair amount. It's something that it makes it so that as a single player, it's conceivable that I can collect enough resources to actually do some of the more difficult stuff, but it won't be ridiculous and like give me all the resources in the world. If it's too high, if it's too low, we can adjust it and from there. But I'm gonna leave that at that. Otherwise, I mean, honestly, like I'm half tempted to reduce the harvest health. This is essentially how hard you have to hit something to break it and get the resources out of it, but you know, 1 is fairly balanced. I'm going to leave it at that, I think. Other than that, most everything else is pretty good, except enable crosshair. I'm just doing this because I'm super okay, to be fair, you need a bow and arrow in single player because the guns don't do much against dinosaurs. The guns are more for attacking other players, like in a player versus player situation. They don't seem to do much against dinosaurs, though, which is kind of odd. You would think guns would still do more damage than a bow and arrow, but I guess not. And so our ranged weapons are mostly going to be basically like the compound bow, crossbow, things of that nature. So I'm bad at aiming that, and I think that by enabling the crosshair, it'll help me out a bit. And honestly, like, I mean, it'd be kind of funny to watch me sort of whiff like my every single shot, like every single shot. I don't know what it is. I just haven't figured out that sweet spot for aiming the bow and arrow, and yeah, I don't know if it'd be kind of hilarious for one time, but seeing me fail over and over again to hit something with a bow and arrow, I don't think that'll be too fun for folks. So that's all I'm gonna change. Like almost everything else, I'm tempted to. We'll see how it goes with the nights. If the nights are taking too long to get through, I'll crank that down a bit. But for now, I'm gonna have day and night be about the same time. Honestly, you kind of almost prefer like more day and less night, because at night you can't do much. Really, the only thing I figured out to do at night is, since you can't see and they don't give you night vision goggles, which is dumb. I think that should be in the game, and I hope they get around to it at some point. But yeah, honestly, like, I mean, you can kind of stumble around through the jungle with a lit torch, but why? Or I guess you could do some, like, eventually you get sort of, like, you can put up spotlights and stuff, and maybe you could have a base and do kind of your base maintenance at night, but I don't know. It's most of the time at night I'll kind of go down in like caves and explore those, but we'll see. Maybe I won't have to adjust the slider. I'm gonna start with it just this way, but I'm half tempted to kind of crank down the time we spend at night so that it'll be a little bit more interesting maybe. But we're gonna leave it like that for now. I think other than that, that's pretty much set up. Let's do this. So what is the deal with this game? The background story, because I think it is really just such a cool concept. Essentially, you see, there's been these aliens, and they have been fascinated by all the sort of apex predators, the most distinguished and interesting species Earth has ever produced. And they've been studying Earth life for hundreds of millions of years. So what they've done is they set up what are like kind of arcs. Basically, they took these species and they bred them on kind of these artificial worlds that they made. And what has happened is they've decided, well, it's time to add humans to the lineup and study how they work. So, yeah, you get abducted by aliens and left naked and afraid on an island full of dinosaurs, megafauna, and just like every gigantic species from the past. How epic is that? How cool is that? I mean, that's just crazy. And it's nuts. I mean, when they put you, like, when you're on the island and you're looking around, you're like, what the heck happened? I mean, it's so cool. And I love cool ideas like that behind a video game, It's just so interesting. And it's cool to see. I like it when... I like when the concept of a game is really solid. And I feel like the concept of this is excellent. Because there are plenty of survival games out there. I don't know why... I thought I reset this. They don't really let you like manipulate your save. You have one save file, and essentially when you die, you respawn. Well, we'll talk about that. But like, I had to go into the actual game files and delete files, hoping to reset everything. And I hope I did. I mean, if we see old structures, we'll just kind of break them down and not use them. I think because. There might be a couple of buildings I put up and stuff. I don't know. I'm hoping I reset the map, though. So let's go ahead and create a new survivor. I'm going to pick the male. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can go either way, but I don't know. I'm one of those guys that like ends up playing as a male. Like, some people, they're like, oh, but you have something better to look at here, or whatever, each his own. But I'm just going to play as a dude. I have a name in mind. The name's going to be this one, Graf Heinz. Now, this is actually a Dungeons and Dragons character that I came up with once upon a time. Graf is the German equivalent of, it's a nobility rank. I think it's like Baron. I might be wrong on that, but it's basically it's kind of like Sir or his or her majesty or whatever. It's like a rank of nobility from German knighthood. Hold on one sec. A little bit of cough there, excuse me. Anyway, and then that Heinz I just stole from the ketchup. That's often. It's actually if you're a writer or if you're trying to come up with an interesting name for a character, there are two things I look to for inspiration. Basically, like company names, because often companies have just kind of interest. Like the founder will have an interesting name if they use it. Like Heinz. Heinz is an interesting name, and I lifted that from a ketchup company. Another good place to look is just around your local neighborhood. The street names. There are some amazing street names that you can find, and they can be great inspirations for cities, for character names. I mean, if you're stuck and you really need a good, solid character name, go out and look at some. Just look at some street names, and I sometimes will just kind of like make a note when I see an interesting one and write it down, and have like a little list going. So it's an idea. Now, what zone do we want to start in? And I think we want to start, if we go down to, let's do South Zone 2. Now this one, it's, I really like this zone. It's, some of the zones can be really harsh for starting, and I'm not sure at what they were thinking, like making a starting zone. Like up in the north, it's all freezing cold, and it's, I mean, it's full of like end game, like giant predators. So why would that be a good starting zone? I don't know. I think they in their minds were balancing around multiplayer and not thinking about the single player experience all that much. So I mean, it's definitely a fun multiplayer game. They got good server support. The community is decent. It's not. It's getting a little bit more and more where like you'll get randomly ganked, but I feel like in general people are more willing to cooperate with each other than they are to attack helpless players. So you do. I mean, obviously, in open world servers, you often do see like some jerk will go around. It's like I'm max level. I have a T-Rex tamed, and I'm just gonna let it eat every level 1 guy I can find. You'll get that, but I don't know. I've had some pretty good experiences on the multiplayer stuff, and we might do a multiplayer playthrough. I'm not sure. To do that, I think it would be more interesting if we had like a good tribe going and all that, but yeah, for now I tend to stick to single player for Let's Plays, and I think I will continue that tradition with this one. But if I was going to do a multiplayer one, this would be a good one for it. You can do some pretty fun stuff as a tribe. See, so we got the name. Now you got all these sliders, and you can just go nuts with it and make all kinds of like different looks. You can even like super exaggerate the like the arms and stuff, so you can have like enormous feet or like tiny bodies and stuff. I've seen people like shrink everything but the head and then make the head as big as they could, so it looks like just a head with some arms and legs sticking out of it. But I'm gonna use the background proportions for this character. There are presets, like you can do like tall and lanky if you want. You can do kind of short and squat, and they give you some ones. This guy, he's huge. Look at him, like crazy. Anyway, I'm just gonna play this one though, just your basic, the first preset. And I think we're good to go. So let's jump in. And you can actually download and do all kinds of stuff. Anyway, let's do this. Now, it does, oh, here we go. Yeah, can you imagine being in this guy's position? Like, you're in bed, relaxing, there's bright light, you wake up the next day, you're stuck on this desert island, and there's a thing implanted in your arm, and you're completely naked. Jesus. I mean, I'd just be in panic mode for like 25, 30 minutes. So, okay, so first thing you want to do, find a tree and take your anger out on it. Graf Heinz is mad. You gotta go all caveman on it. Now, there's a few reasons for that. It'll help you level up, but you also get supplies from trees. Now that we've done that, though, let's open up our inventory. Oh, we don't quite have enough yet. We also need to go around and I think, is it E? I think it's E. Like, so as you're walking around, you'll see little rocks on the ground, like over here, and just kind of hit E. Now, one thing I like about this start is it's fairly, and see, that's adding a whole bunch of stone and stuff. Okay, equip a tool. Okay, good. So let's go to craftables, and let's go ahead and craft our first item. Yeah, the stone pick. So you get two. Oh god, so much I have to get out. So much I have to get out. But you get two main tools, and you upgrade them over time. Like this one will become a metal version eventually. But stone pick and the stone axe are your starter tools. And basically, honestly, the way they work is you go around and as you hit stuff, you collect. Basically, the ratios of what you're collecting change, whether you're hitting, depending on. Gosh, I'm stumbling over my words here, but if you hit something with a pick, you get some stuff off of it more, and if you hit stuff with an axe, you get other stuff. So once I get an axe, like what I tend to do is just kind of go around and I'll hit one rock with a pick, and then switch to the axe and hit the next rock with the axe. And that gives you a good variety of goods. Like, see, you mostly get flint from the picks, and then from the axes you'll get stone. So that's kind of how that works. And yeah, in the beginning, honestly, just go around, collect stuff. Collecting gets you experience, and it'll help you level up. But so why did I pick the South? Well, almost every other area tends to start with really dangerous predators, basically. Horrifying dinosaurs that will jump you and eat you. We're talking Velociraptor. We're talking, like, Spinosaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex, the whole shebang. And this beach, though, for whatever reason, it only has, like, the really weak guys. So I can kind of relax on it. It's a good way to ease yourself in. So South Zone 2 is kind of my jam. I'm going to go with melee damage. Now, solo, you have to pick certain things at certain times. Let's see, we got 8 engrams. We're definitely going to learn a fire so we don't freeze to death, and a stone hatchet so, we can get our stone on. Oh, and now that we have that, let's go ahead and craft one. And as you see here, this weapon is a little bit damaged. When it gets busted, it'll just kind of gray out in your, well, you'll see in a second. Yeah, let's find a rock and smack it. Now when it breaks, yeah, see, it shows a broken tool. You can just re-hit the hotkey and make it. So we'll switch to this while that's repairing. Now, there is crafting speed that you can level. I don't see the point. You craft stuff so quickly anyway. I've never felt like I'm hurting for crafting speed. Maybe if like you were in a multiplayer server and you were interested in only crafting and trading for stuff with other players. Oh, some of these you can't harvest. But I mean, even then it's kind of questionable. So another very important thing that, people need to know and understand about this game, and I'll show you once I finish this collection. It's good we're getting some metal out here. It's another reason I like this starting point. You get a lot of metal off of the beach rock, which is nice. Metal's rare. It's often hard to find. And you need a lot of it. So, it's really nice that we're seeing that. Alright, well, yeah, you get tired. That's kind of one of the things I want to show you. So, you really kind of need to pay attention to whether you're running or not. All the time, like, if you don't have a lot of stamina, you'll end up getting tired, and it can be bad if you get jumped. Another very important thing, and it just happened here, and we kind of missed it. Yeah, you poop. Yeah, it's my first one. We better collect it, huh? Ew, I picked it up, gross, with bare hands. But yeah, you do poop. Everyone poops. It's actually helpful. You can fertilize crops. You want more, like, better poop than human poop, though. You can get some really, like, the really, like, quality poop if you have the right kind of dinosaurs. So there's also other uses for poop. How much can I say poop in one sentence? But well, I mean, we'll get to that when we get to that. Like, you can actually get, like, really good resources out of it. I like this little pool here. It's always kind of quiet and safe. You don't get any big sharks or anything. I almost want to build a little campground here. I'm not gonna. The main reason I'm not going to do that is, well, it's kind of out of the way. And there's not much in the way of resources besides some rocks around here. so it's not really worth wasting. Another thing you can do with poop, yeah, you can throw it. So, you know, if you want to go all, you know, primitive savage on people, you can collect a whole bunch of it and kind of throw it at people. So, or dinosaurs. It doesn't do anything. It's just kind of like an insult. So now that we have poop all over our hands, let's continue on, shall we? Let's see. Just you know, reason why I'm harvesting is I don't really need this much rock, but I'm gonna do it anyway to level up. What we need to do though is find our way kind of closer to the forest so we can find some berries and maybe some meat. Yeah, I'm getting hungry. You can see that there. Oh, yep, there we go again. You could actually do that on command. It's pretty ridiculous, but also kind of fun. Yeah, in the beginning, like, honestly, the way to go about things is just go around chopping down as much as you can and kind of like being on guard. This place is relatively safe. You can tell because I'm relaxed and not panicking so much. Things can get dangerous in a hurry. One thing you gotta watch out for though is you see this open water here. That's kind of the ocean. Oh, you saw that fin? Yeah, it's teeming with sharks, and not just any shark. Megalodon, the largest shark that ever lived, the ancient prehistoric version of a great white. You know, the kind of shark that it didn't eat fish, it ate whales. Like, I mean, I'm encumbered now too, so that's no good. Let's see what we can do about that. Well, it's probably the stone. Yeah, see, 38. You don't want to stay encumbered. It's the stone and the wood, though. I'm going to split these stacks and actually just drop them. It's kind of a waste, but kind of not to, because you know we're done carrying all that around. And actually, they do decay, and they'll last about 2 minutes. So that's something to keep in mind. But those are two resources that are easy to get, but they weigh a lot. So it's a balancing act. Eventually, as you progress along, you'll solve your weight issues because you'll get some slaves to do it for you. Yeah, you can actually tame dinosaurs. I guess you probably figured that out when I was suggesting the taming speed. But yeah, and eventually you can get like big pack animal versions and stuff. So I'm gonna get a little bit of thatch because I think we're gonna need some of that. We're gonna need thatch and fiber to make ourselves some. Is that another shark fin? It could be an ichthyosaur as well. Ichthyosaurs are friendly, or could be a shark. So that, I think it's a shark. See, with dolphins, you can kind of tell because like the back flipper dolphin goes up and down. But ichthyosaurs, you know, it's convergent evolution. They evolved to swim side to side, and yeah, they are almost impossible to tell apart from the sharks until you get in the water. And you don't want to get in the water with a shark. Yeah, they're nasty. They'll crush you in half. They'll just bite you in half almost immediately. So you don't want to get out in the open ocean until a little bit later. If you are desperate for food, there's some tasty fish in the water. Our first kind of larger creature, carbonemas. This is actually an inaccurate depiction. They weren't tortoises. They were actually aquatic. They're more like your painted turtles. So I kind of dislike their interpretation because it's one of the least accurate ones. But they were about the size in real life, but they didn't have these giant spiky shells. And in addition to that, they were much flatter and wider, more like a sea turtle is. So they lived in the Amazon basin back in the Paleocene, I believe. Triceratops. Yeah, those are great early dinosaurs. They can carry a ton of weight for you, so they're good little pack mules. And on top of that, if you have a saddle for them, they're like really handy for collecting some resources because they can just kind of shred stuff with their mighty horn. So I'm definitely okay. So with the engrams, you can't. What is this? Okay. So this is a new dinosaur. It looks like a carnivore. Okay, it is. Get away! Get away! Oh man, they're fast too. But they're weak. Now, They're weak and cowards. You will pay for this crime. Okay. Yeah. That's a new one. I haven't played in a while. And, there's some new dinosaurs in here, so interesting find. Hey, I leveled up. Nice. Yeah, compies, they kind of swarm you. So, I mean, they're weak, but you kind of have to watch out, too, if you get too many on you. Let's see. Yeah, you don't unlock your engrams until you boost something. So, I'm kind of focusing on melee damage for now. It helps me fight off the dinosaurs, and other such. It also helps with harvesting. So, it's a pretty handy early skill. Late game, you want to focus more on health and carry weight and a couple, like, stamina and stuff, but we'll get to that. So, what am I going to learn? I definitely want the wooden club. This is a new tool. I've been doing some reading about it, and it's apparently, like, really good for taming. So, and in the single player world, you want to tame as much as you can. So, we're going to learn some of these, just get some clothes, because you can easily freeze to death if you're not careful. Oh, and that's gonna need some stuff. So, what can we make? Let's make a torch while we're at it. Sometimes crafting is handy because it will, it uses up items that weigh a lot and gives you items that weigh a little. So, if you're struggling with weight, keep in mind it might be worth crafting something. So for now, I'm gonna, is the sun already we must have started like midday or something. Oh, that's not all that good because okay, well, we got some meat. I'll tell you what, let's have a little campfire and sing some songs. For the night, I don't want let's get actually some more firewood because it might get cold. We're already a little chilly. You see in the lower left corner there, they show like, oh, it's cold out. Had to poo. Yeah, sometimes the urge just takes you, and now the thing you wonder is like, so he kind of wears like a little diaper or whatever. Is he just going in the diaper? And I mean, obviously you have to have like the worst case of swamp ass. Anyway, I'm being a boy. Let's see here. I'm gonna build a little campfire because we need to cook up the meat we got from those oh my goodness, I cannot remember. Compies. it's like compo. Oh gosh, there's so many dinosaurs in the world, and they were never like ones that I was that interested in. They're really kind of primitive, almost the basic dinosaur body plan. It's like componymies or something. Compies. Okay, yeah, we're really hungry. So how do you cook? Well, you build a campfire. You put some meat on the campfire, you put some wood on the campfire, and this guy happens to be like really good at lighting fires. Like that is not realistic. If you've ever had to light a fire, yeah, you're not going to like. It's just not an easy thing to do. So no, don't put it out. Okay, you have to hold E to access the inventory, and let's wait a minute. We'll get some meat and eat it right away, and it'll help our stomach. Because one thing you don't want to do is starve to death right out the gate. Come on, meat. I mean, you can't eat it raw. It's just, okay, we'll get some cooked meat going. Okay, use item, or, yeah. Escape, there. Escape. There we go. Yeah, and that also, it hydrates you a bit as well, so. We'll let that cook, we'll enjoy the fire. Keep an eye out maybe for, if you see those little lights in the distance, they're kind of like goodie bags in a way. They give you, oh, see, it's cold. We have to be, if we stick near the campfire, we'll stay warm. So we might not want to do too much exploring when we have no clothing and it's at night and kind of cold out. So we have plenty of wood though. We can leave that fire going and just kind of keep warm. And keep a lookout too. We don't really have a base that's safe. So yeah, these little beacons, it's kind of strange. Like the aliens are, I guess, are trying to like help you out, and they send stuff down through like a little space-time teleporter. They can have really good goodies in it, but Like, see, that one's green, and I can't get green until like level 15, so it's not worth going for yet. Usually, though, they'll land in places that aren't really reachable, and you can expect to have to deal with dinosaurs around the area. So, anywho, I'm gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back after our meal is cooked, and yeah, maybe tell a campfire story while we wait out the night.